Hello, my dear friends. Welcome back. I'm so happy to see you here again. Your presence means so much to me because today's story is not just any story. It's something very special. It's something real. I am not reading from a book, and I am not repeating someone else's words. Today, I am opening my heart. I am sharing something that truly happened in my life. And this experience, this journey changed me. It changed the way I think, the way I live, and the way I learn. And maybe, just maybe, it can change your life too. Let me ask you a simple question. Have you ever felt stuck in your English journey? Do you sometimes feel like you try, but nothing works? Do you feel slow when you speak? Do you feel shy when others listen? Or do you sometimes feel like everyone is moving forward except you? If you feel this way, I want to tell you something important. You are not alone. I felt the same. I tried everything I could. I followed English pages. I downloaded language apps. I listened to English songs. I even bought small online courses. But still, I was not making real progress. My speaking was broken. My grammar was confused. My confidence was low. I used to smile on the outside, but deep inside I was tired and disappointed. I felt like I was failing again and again. Many times I wanted to give up. I thought maybe English was just not for me. Maybe I was too old. Maybe I was too busy. Maybe I was not smart enough. These thoughts filled my mind like dark clouds. But even in that storm of doubt, a small voice inside me whispered, "Don't quit yet. Keep looking, keep trying." And I listened. I kept searching for a solution, something simple, something real, something that would finally help me move forward. And then one evening, something happened. I was watching random videos on YouTube, not really focused. I was feeling low and tired. I didn't expect anything. But suddenly I heard a man say something that caught my heart. He said, "Success doesn't come from big actions done once. Success comes from small actions done every day." I stopped the video. I played that sentence again, slowly, carefully. And then he said something even simpler but very powerful. If you want to change your English, just give 1 hour every day. That's it. 1 hour, no more, no less. Just one honest hour. That is the 1 hour rule. At first I smiled. Just 1 hour? That sounds too easy, too simple, too small. But as I listened more, I started to feel something in my heart. Maybe this was the answer I was searching for. I didn't need to spend money. I didn't need a perfect plan. I didn't need to be perfect. I just needed to promise myself one thing. Every day, I will give 1 hour to English, no matter what. That's all. No excuses, no shortcuts. Just 1 hour every single day. A small promise, a quiet decision, but a powerful one. That day, something changed inside me. I felt a little light in my heart, a little hope. I wasn't sure where this path would take me, but I knew one thing. I wanted to try. I had nothing to lose and everything to gain. That night, I made a new plan, a new beginning. I decided to follow the 1 hour rule. And that one small decision started a big journey. Before I found the 1 hour rule, I was lost not just in English, but in my confidence. Every day I woke up with good intentions. I told myself, today I will study. Today I will improve my English. But when the day ended, I felt disappointed again. I was not lazy, but I had no clear direction. I didn't know what to do or how to do it. I followed many English channels. I saved videos. I liked the quotes. I even took notes. But I wasn't getting better. My speaking was still broken. My listening was weak. I couldn't express my thoughts in English. I knew I had the passion, but I was missing a path. I remember sitting in my room, holding my grammar book. I would open the first page, read a rule, try to understand it, then close it again. It felt heavy. Too many rules, too many exceptions. I also downloaded apps. They were fun at first. I would play vocabulary games, do matching exercises. But after a few days, I got bored. It didn't feel real. It didn't feel like progress. It felt like I was just touching the surface, not going deep. Then came the guilt. I would look at myself in the mirror and ask, why am I not improving? What am I doing wrong? The worst part was speaking. Oh, how much I struggled with speaking. Every time someone said something to me in English, I would panic. My heart would beat fast. My hands would get cold. Even if I knew the answer, I couldn't speak. I was afraid of being judged, afraid of making mistakes. I thought people would laugh at me. I felt small. I felt stuck. I would practice alone, repeat words in my room, whisper sentences to myself. But when it was time to speak in front of someone, my voice disappeared. I saw others around me speaking fluently. Some of them didn't even try that hard, and yet their English was so smooth. I wondered, what's wrong with me? Why can't I do it? I started to believe I was not smart enough. Maybe I didn't have the language talent everyone talks about. Maybe it was too late for me. I was comparing myself to everyone else, and each comparison made me feel more broken inside. And still, I didn't give up. Even in those dark moments, a little voice in my heart whispered, "Try again." And I did. I kept trying. I kept searching for a solution. I prayed for guidance. I wanted something real, not a magic trick, not a shortcut. Just a method that worked, something honest, something I could follow without feeling overwhelmed. I didn't need to become fluent in 1 week. I just wanted to move forward even a little. I was tired of feeling stuck. I was tired of pretending. I was tired of telling others I was learning English, when deep inside I felt like I was failing. I knew I had the desire, but desire alone wasn't enough. I needed something I could follow every day. Something simple, something possible, something that respected my time, my energy, and my emotions. I was ready for change, but I didn't know where it would come from. And then, one small video changed everything. After watching that video and hearing about the 1-hour rule, I didn't sleep well that night. Not because I was worried, but because I was thinking deeply. I kept repeating the words in my head. 1 hour a day. 1 hour a day. It sounded simple, but powerful, and it felt different from all the tips I had heard before. Most people gave complicated advice. Learn grammar for 2 hours, watch a movie without subtitles, memorize 1,000 words in a month. But this advice was simple and honest. Just one promise. Give 1 hour to English every single day. That's it. When I woke up the next morning, I decided not to wait. I had waited enough in life. Waited for the right time, the perfect day, the right mood. But now I was done waiting. I told myself, today is the day. This is your first step. I didn't plan too much. I didn't make a perfect schedule. I just found a short English video with subtitles. It was a simple story, just a few minutes long. I put on my headphones, sat at my table, and started the video. In the beginning, it was not easy. My mind was not used to sitting for one full hour. After 10 minutes, I wanted to check my phone. After 20 minutes, I wanted to get up and drink tea. But I stopped myself. I told myself, this is your hour. This is your promise. I paused the video, repeated sentences, spoke out loud, and even copied the speaker's tone. I wrote new words in my notebook and tried to make my own sentences with them. When the hour ended, I looked at the clock and smiled. I did it. 1 full hour. Just me and English. No distractions, no excuses, no giving up. That first day felt like a small victory. It wasn't just about learning something new. It was about keeping a promise to myself. For the first time in a long time, I felt in control. I felt like I had started a journey that I could continue. I didn't feel perfect, but I felt proud. And that feeling gave me the strength to do it again the next day. So the next day, I returned to the same place, my small study corner. I picked a new video. This one was a conversation between two people in a cafe. I tried something different. I used the shadowing technique. I listened to one sentence, then paused the video and tried to repeat the sentence exactly the same way. At first, I sounded awkward. I laughed at my own voice. But I didn't stop. I was alone. No one was watching. No one was judging. I was free to try, to speak, to sound silly. And slowly, something began to change. My mouth started to move more naturally. My tongue started to follow the rhythm. My confidence started to rise. I also started writing. After watching and listening, I would take 5 minutes and write a few sentences about what I learned or how I felt. It helped me connect to the language emotionally. I wasn't just learning English, I was living it. I made a small space in my room just for English. A table, a chair, a notebook, a pen, and a small clock. I called it my English corner. I didn't allow my phone there unless I was using it for learning. I didn't scroll through social media. I didn't let myself leave early. That hour became sacred to me, a time just for growth, a time just for me. Of course, there were challenges. Some days I was too tired. Some days I had too much work. Some days I felt sad or angry or unmotivated. But even then, I told myself, just show up. You don't have to be perfect. Just give me 1 hour. And that's what I did. Day after day, week after week. Slowly, without realizing it, I started building something powerful inside me: discipline, confidence, and belief. And then, the results started showing. It didn't happen overnight. Nothing magical happened in the first week. I didn't suddenly start speaking like a native. I still made mistakes. I still forgot words. But something inside me had changed. I was not running anymore. I was not hiding from English. I was showing up every single day. For 1 full hour, I gave my time, my heart, and my attention to the language I once feared. And slowly, I started to notice small changes. Very small, but very real. One morning, I was watching a video and realized I didn't need subtitles anymore. I could understand the speaker's voice. Not every word, but enough to follow the story. That small moment made my heart light up. I paused the video and whispered, "Did I really understand that?" I felt like a child who had just taken their first step. I wanted to cry and smile at the same time. Because for the first time, English wasn't just noise, it was becoming part of me. A few days later, I went to the market. A tourist was asking for directions. I heard people around me avoiding her because they didn't speak English. She looked confused, nervous. I walked up to her, my heart beating fast. I was scared, but I remembered my 1 hour. I remembered all those days of practicing. So I took a deep breath and said, "Can I help you?" She smiled with relief and asked her questions. And guess what? I answered. Not perfectly, not quickly, but clearly. She understood me. I understood her. It was a short conversation, but it was my first real English moment in public, and I will never forget it. That one conversation gave me wings. I realized that my daily one was working. My brain was learning, my ears were catching sounds, my mouth was getting used to the language. I began to trust myself more. I started speaking to myself in English while doing simple things, washing dishes, walking to the store, and cleaning my room. I would describe things out loud. "This is my cup. The water is hot. I am making tea." It felt strange, but it helped. I wasn't waiting for a teacher anymore. I had become my own teacher. Then, something else happened. I started dreaming in English. Not always, but sometimes. I would wake up and realize I was speaking English in my dream. That's when I truly understood this language was becoming part of my life. It was no longer just something I studied. It was something I lived. And the reason? That simple rule. 1 hour a day. That small, quiet decision was now bringing big, beautiful changes into my life. I started writing more too. Simple diary entries at first. Just a few sentences about my day. Today I went to the park. It was sunny. I saw children playing. Later I wrote longer thoughts. My dreams, my struggles, my ideas. Writing helped me organize my English, and reading them later gave me joy. I could see my growth in my own words. I also found joy in small things. Understanding a song lyric, reading an English meme, laughing at a joke in English, watching a movie and catching a word I had learned last week. All these little moments felt like rewards. I didn't need someone to clap for me. I didn't need a certificate. I could feel my progress in my own heart. And that was enough. The people around me began to notice too. A friend said, "Your English sounds better now." Another said, "You speak with more confidence." These small comments became my motivation. I didn't feel invisible anymore. I didn't feel like a failure. I felt proud of myself. Not because I was perfect, but because I was consistent. I showed up. I stayed. I didn't quit. And the most beautiful thing? It was all free. I didn't pay for an expensive course. I didn't go abroad. I didn't need perfect conditions. All I needed was time. Just 1 hour a day, my hour, my growth, my journey. And that made all the difference. 3 weeks had passed. I was still following the 1 hour rule. Every day, no matter how tired I was, no matter how busy my day had been, I gave 1 hour to English. At first it felt difficult, but now it has become part of my daily life. Like brushing my teeth or eating dinner, it became a habit. And something strange began to happen. Something small, yet powerful. I didn't notice it immediately, but one day while watching a video, I suddenly understood a full sentence without needing subtitles. It was fast, but my brain caught it. I paused the video and smiled. Did I just understand that? I whispered to myself. I replayed the sentence. Yes, I got it right. It felt magical. That one moment was small, but it gave me huge confidence. For the first time in my life, I felt like English was no longer a mountain. It was now a road I was walking. From that day, I started noticing more changes. When I read English stories, I didn't get stuck on every word. I could guess the meaning from the sentence. My dictionary stayed closed more often. When I spoke, my words came out smoother. I still made mistakes, but I no longer felt afraid. And the best part? I started enjoying the process. English was no longer a subject. It had become a friend, something I looked forward to every day. One evening, my younger cousin came to visit. He asked me for help with his English homework. As I helped him, I realized something surprising. The grammar rules, the sentence structure, the vocabulary. I knew all of it. I explained everything to him in simple words. He understood. And then he said something that touched my heart. "Wow, you speak English so well now." That simple compliment made my eyes fill with tears. Not because I was proud, but because I remembered how far I had come. There was a time when I couldn't speak even one sentence without fear. Now I was helping someone else. That's when I realized progress doesn't always shout. Sometimes it whispers. You don't see it every day. But if you stay patient and keep going, one day it speaks clearly. I still wasn't perfect. My English wasn't like a native speaker, but I no longer wanted perfection. I wanted growth. And I was growing, step by step, word by word, hour by hour. I understood now that the journey is not about being fast. It's about being consistent. And so, I kept going. I didn't need anyone to push me anymore. I had become my own motivation. The 1-hour rule had not just improved my English, it had changed how I saw myself. I was no longer the girl who gave up. I was the girl who showed up every day, for 1 hour, for herself. It was a Sunday afternoon. I sat at my small study table with my English notebook open, a pen in my hand, and a soft smile on my face. The room was quiet, and the fan above quickly hummed. Outside the window, children were playing, birds were flying, and life was moving like always. But something inside me had changed. I wasn't the same person I was 5 weeks ago. The 1-hour rule had done something powerful. It had opened a new world for me, a world I never thought I could enter. Before, I used to avoid English. If someone asked me to speak, I would look down or change the topic. But now I wanted to speak. I wanted to listen more. I wanted to understand people, watch interviews, read stories, and write my own. English was no longer a subject I feared had become a key that opened doors I once thought were locked forever. One day, I joined an online English learning group. There were people from many countries like India, Egypt, Brazil, Nigeria, Pakistan, Bangladesh. They all had one goal: to speak English better. I was scared at first. What if I made a mistake? What if they laughed at me? But I reminded myself, I give 1 hour every day. I am learning. I am improving. I deserve to try. And so I joined the group conversation. My voice was soft. My sentences were simple. But they listened. They smiled. And when I finished speaking, someone said, "Well said." I couldn't believe it. My words had reached someone. My English had value. That night I couldn't sleep. I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, thinking about that moment. For years I had stayed silent. I thought I wasn't smart enough, fluent enough, and brave enough. But all I really needed was time and trust, time to grow and trust in myself. The 1-hour rule gave me both. And then I started doing something I never imagined, writing my thoughts in English. At first, it was just a few lines. Then it became paragraphs. I wrote about my day, my dreams, my fears. I wrote stories, poems, and letters to my future self. Writing became a mirror. It showed me my progress. I read my older pages and smiled at how far I'd come. One morning, I woke up and said something out loud in English without thinking. It just came naturally. That's when I realized English was no longer something I had to force. It had become a part of me. Not perfect, not fast, but real. Like a plant growing slowly and silently, my English had taken root in my life. Of course, some people still laughed, some are still judged. But I didn't stop, because I remembered something important. Those who laugh at your beginning will be silent at your success. I was no longer learning for them. I was learning for myself, for my future, for the dreams I once hid. Every morning I opened my eyes with more energy. My heart felt lighter. My mind felt clearer. I have a routine now. Wake up, pray, freshen up, then spend 1 hour with English. Just 1 hour. But it was changing everything. I started watching YouTube videos with subtitles. I followed English learners and teachers. I read their captions and learned new words. I joined live sessions and even left short comments in English. Just simple ones like, "Thank you for this video," or "I'm learning English too." But those small comments made me feel brave. Then something beautiful happened. One day, I saw a post from an online English school. They were looking for beginner students who wanted to join a free conversation class. My heart jumped. Should I apply? I asked myself. I was nervous. What if they said no? What if I wasn't good enough? But a quiet voice inside whispered, "You've worked hard. You've given 1 hour every day. This is your time." So, I applied. And after 2 days, I got the reply. "Congratulations, you are selected." I couldn't believe it. Me? Selected? I held my phone tightly and showed it to my younger sister. She screamed with joy. My mother smiled and said, "See, your hard work is showing now." I felt tears in my eyes, not because of fear this time, but because of pride. The first class was on Zoom. There were 10 other students and one friendly teacher. We were all shy at first, but slowly we started speaking. Some said I'm from India. Others said I'm from Sudan or I'm from Brazil. Then it was my turn. I smiled and said, "I'm from London. I'm learning English every day." The teacher said, "That's great. Keep it up." Those words felt like a gift, like someone had handed me a small star to keep in my pocket. From that day, I never missed a single class. I prepared before each session. I practiced speaking alone in front of a mirror. I recorded my voice and listened again to improve. I even started reading children's storybooks in English. The stories were simple, but they taught me so much. New words, sentence patterns, and emotions. One night I sat under the stars and thought about my journey. I remembered the girl who couldn't say one full sentence, the girl who was afraid to speak. And now, I was speaking in class. I was learning with students from different countries. I was writing my thoughts in English. My dreams had started speaking English. And it wasn't just language. It was confidence. It was a growth. It was freedom. A cousin came to visit that weekend. She had just finished her university degree. She asked me, "So what are you doing these days?" I smiled and said, "I'm learning English." She looked surprised. "Oh, I didn't know." I replied, "Yes, I study 1 hour every day." She paused, looked at me and said, "That's impressive. You sound more confident than before." That moment stayed with me. It reminded me that people notice your effort even if you think they don't. Days turned into weeks, weeks turned into months, and that one small habit, giving 1 hour to English every day, became a part of my life. Just like eating lunch or brushing my teeth, it became something I did without thinking. I didn't need motivation every day. I didn't wait for the perfect mood or a quiet room. I just did it. 1 hour. Every single day. No matter what. But slowly, something deeper started to happen. It wasn't just about English anymore. It became something bigger. I started to feel proud of myself, not just because I was learning, but because I was becoming someone stronger. I had more discipline, more confidence, more belief in myself. I was not perfect in English, but I was no longer scared. My voice didn't shake when I spoke. My heart didn't race with fear when someone asked me something in English. I started to trust myself. One afternoon, something beautiful happened. My little cousin came to visit. She was carrying a notebook. She looked shy, like she wanted to ask something. "I need help," she said softly. "With what?" I asked. "With English," she said. "Mama said you're learning very well now." My heart felt full. Me? Helping someone else? I always thought of myself as the one who needed help. But now, someone saw me as a guide. We sat together on the floor. I opened her notebook and looked at her writing. It reminded me of my own early mistakes, big spelling errors, mixed up tenses, and broken confidence. I smiled. I told her the same things I used to tell myself. "Don't worry, you're doing great. Let's make it simple." I shared everything I had learned: how to listen to English stories with subtitles, how to write one small diary entry every day, and how to break long sentences into short, easy ones. I told her my biggest secret: the 1 hour rule. "Just give 1 hour every day," I said. "That's all. No pressure, no rush, just one honest hour." We studied together for 1 hour. When we finished, she looked at me and smiled. "This is fun," she said. That sentence touched my soul. It reminded me of why I started. That one small sentence gave me more joy than anything else. After that day, everything changed again. Other girls from my street started asking for help. Some were younger, some older. Some had stopped going to school. Others had never been to school. But they all wanted one thing to learn. And they all came to me. We started meeting every weekend. I didn't have a fancy classroom, just a small space in my home, a few chairs, and a big heart full of hope. We read children's stories. We acted out small English dialogues. Sometimes we even recorded our voices to check our pronunciation. I looked around at the girls sitting with me. Their eyes were full of dreams. Their hearts were full of fear. But they were trying, and I understood them because I had been just like them. I was once that girl, scared to speak, afraid to fail, hiding behind silence. But now, I was helping others find their voice. And in that moment, I realized something powerful. I was no longer learning English just for myself. I was learning it so I could lift others too. And that, my friend, was the most beautiful part of this journey. Life has a strange way of surprising us when we stay consistent. One morning, while I was checking my messages, I saw a new email. It was from a small online platform that helps people learn English. They had seen a short video I had posted online where I was explaining English tips. It wasn't perfect. My accent was still strong. I made little mistakes, but I was smiling and speaking with confidence. They said they loved the way I made English feel simple and kind. They asked, "Would you like to join us as a community helper? You can support new learners online." My heart beat fast. I read the message again and again. Me? A helper? A guide? I had once been afraid to even speak one full sentence in English. Now someone was asking me to help others do the same. I said yes. It didn't pay money at first, but it paid for something more powerful: belonging. I was part of a group that believed in change, growth, and small daily actions. I met learners from Brazil, Indonesia, Nigeria, and even Japan. We shared stories, we shared mistakes, and we shared one dream: to speak English with confidence. Every time I helped someone, I remembered my own journey, the fear, the shame, the doubt. And I reminded them of the same thing I once told myself. Don't be perfect, just be brave. 1 hour a day. Soon I started writing small motivational posts. Then I made more short videos. My followers grew slowly, then faster. People messaged me saying, "I was about to give up, but your story helped me start again." Every time I heard that, I smiled with tears in my eyes, because I knew the feeling of giving up. I had been there, and now, somehow, I was pulling others out of that same hole. The girl who once couldn't introduce herself in English was now giving hope to hundreds. And all of it began with just 1 hour a day. 1 year later, I was invited to speak at an online event for English learners. It wasn't a big stage. It was just a virtual Zoom room with maybe 50 people. But for me, it was everything. I wore a simple dress. I had my notes beside me. I took a deep breath and clicked join. As my face appeared on the screen, I saw people smiling, waving, waiting to hear me. My heart was full. I began with the same words I had once feared to say. "Hello, my name is Amelia, and today I want to tell you how 1 hour changed my life." I told them everything: how I struggled, how I failed, how I kept going even when no one clapped. I shared my first embarrassing video, my broken sentences, my mistakes, my tears, and most importantly, my hope. I looked into the camera and said, "You don't have to be perfect. You don't need fancy courses or expensive teachers. You just need to start. 1 hour a day, every day. Even when you're tired, even when you're scared, even when no one believes in you, believe in yourself. 1 hour can change your life." When the session ended, the chat was full of messages. "Thank you. You're an inspiration. I'm crying. I'm starting my 1 hour today." I sat back and looked out the window. The sun was setting. The sky was orange and pink, soft and peaceful. And in that moment, I realized something beautiful. My journey was not just about learning English. It was about becoming someone stronger, kinder, and braver. The girl who once hid behind silence was now a voice of light for others. I didn't become famous. I didn't earn millions. But I earned something greater: respect, self-love, and the power to inspire. That's what 1 hour a day gave me. So if you're reading this or listening to this story, I want to say, don't give up. Your journey might be slow. You might cry some nights. You might want to stop. But if you give just 1 hour each day to your dream, you will see a miracle, just like I did. The 1 hour rule changed my life. Now, it's your turn. My dear friends, if you have listened to this story until the end, I want to say something very important to you from my heart to yours. This is not just a story about English. This is a story about believing in yourself when the world makes you feel small. It's about not giving up when everything inside you says, you can't do it. I was once that person. I felt like a failure. I tried and failed again and again. My English was poor. My confidence was broken. My dreams felt far away. But something changed. And it was not a big miracle. It was not money or a fancy course or someone doing it for me. It was one simple choice. I promised myself to give just 1 hour every day to my English. One honest hour. Not perfect, not always easy, but consistent. Some days I read, some days I listened. Some days I just spoke to myself in front of a mirror. But I didn't stop. That 1 hour became my power. That 1 hour became my hope. That 1 hour changed my life. And if you're still here, listening to me now, I want to tell you something powerful. You can do this too. You don't need to wait for the right time. You don't need to have perfect grammar or expensive tools. You just need to start. Right now. With what you have. With who you are. Because that 1 hour you give to English is not just about the language. It's about discipline. The hope. The belief that you are becoming better. It is proof that you are growing. And when things get hard, and trust me, you will want to quit. You will feel tired. You will feel like you're going nowhere. But that is when the real magic happens. If you don't stop, you win. If you give your hour even when you feel tired, you become stronger. So, my friend, your journey starts now. Not next week, not someday. Now. Close the other tabs. Put away distractions. Set a timer for 60 minutes. And give your heart to English. Just for 1 hour. Do it for your dreams. Do it for your future. Do it for the version of you who refuses to give up. Remember, 1 hour a day can change your whole life. Your hour starts now. And your new life? It's already knocking at your door. Open it.